Good evening, all, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis Cocker, and I will be alone tonight. Unfortunately, it's Wednesday, and Stu is always on his footy. But I promised you guys a preview, so I will do a short preview, maybe not more than 30 minutes, but at least I get you guys, and we can interact. We will talk about the up and coming West Ham game played tomorrow night. I think it's 8 p.m. UK time. Man United play home Old Trafford against West Ham, or how Stu likes to say it, West Ham. So, guys, girls, there will be much to talk about. I will bring up the tactical board. I will tell you how I think Ruben Amorim will set up this team, how we will try to play, and what we can expect from Nuno Espirito Santos and the West Ham team. So, guys, don't be afraid. Get your comments in and like and subscribe if this is your first time on the Tactical Devils. I will be back after the intro, so see you in a sec. Boom, boom, boom. The Tactical Devils are back. I see a lot of people have tuned in already, and a lot of people are in the house. I see Catherine No Nonsense McDade is in the house. We have Sebastian, MUFC. Big up. Good to see my friend. We have, who else? Let's say we have Howler. Big up, Howler, coming in the house. And Matthew Bassett is in the house. And even Johnny Kermode is here. And we have Sean. Sean, if you want to jump on, just let me know and I'll send you the link. And I will just do a 30-minute preview. So I will just talk a little bit about the game tomorrow. But Stu is away, so I'm alone tonight, all by myself. No, I'm not going to sing anymore. So that's just the way it is. We have Nathan Lee Lewis coming in. Big up, Nathan. Good to see you. Evening, Jarvis. Hey, everyone. And as I said, Sean is in the house. United versus everybody. Yo, yo, yo. And we have Johnny Kermode and all of you legends. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about the West Ham game. There was a press conference today with Ruben Amorim. I heard the press conference, and a lot of questions trying to bait him in one or another direction. But Ruben Amorim said, for example, that he don't follow social media. I don't follow any social media accounts when it comes to Man United. He doesn't want it to influence his view on how he sees Man United. And I think that's a fair take. And I don't think anyone expected the Man United the Man United manager or head coach to sit and watch us YouTubers talk about Man United. So that's just a fair point. But he mentioned something that was really interesting. Let me bring it up. This one, let me just, I'm doing the production and all by myself, as I said. Here we go. So Simon Stone, or this were in the interview, and let me just read it out for you. Ruben Amorim says he has 2 injury doubts for tomorrow's game. But Matheus Cunha will return for Man United. Benjamin Sesko and Harry Maguire is definitely out. So this is the updates. This is what we know so far. 2 injury doubts. The only thing is we don't know who. So we can only speculate. I don't know if any of you have heard anything. But for me, my first instant thought when I heard this was Bruno Fernandes, because he held the back of his thigh. It looked like he had a hamstring injury. He had that shot, dead air shot at the end of the game, and he felt on his ass. So I think I said right away, I think he's burned out and he might be injured. But We will know more tomorrow. I just want to say hi to the latest arrivers. We have Bilal coming in and say, big up, Mr. Jarvis. I am Titanium. Good to see you. Good to see you. And we also have Dave147 coming in and say, big up, Jarvis and chatters. Yes, big up, big up. And Sean comes in and say he wouldn't be surprised if Kobe isn't in the squad. What? I would be surprised if he's not in the squad. I think Kobe needs minutes, but it don't look good for Kobe in this this Amorim system. I think he struggles. He don't get any game time, and we don't even see 10 minutes of Kobe. We see 2 minutes, and for me that's disturbing. It's really disturbing. We need to play this young super talent, and if he has any future for Man United, I think we need a player like him, and we need to play him. So for me, I would be really surprised if he's not in the squad. Yes. I wanna talk a little bit about the teams tomorrow, so we can look at the predicted lineups. First of all, Bilal, no, he's not joining me tonight. Stu is Wednesday night. It's Stu's night off, and he has footy every Wednesday. So I'm just gonna do a short preview for you guys. So I just gotta get into it. So yeah, big up. Oh, Adam Patridge is in the house also. Big up, big up. I wanna bring up the tactical board, and we can look at the predicted starting 11s. So what we got so far. I need to remove these comments on screen. It's in the way. It's in the way. Okay, this is better. So for Man United, I as always, Lammens will start. De Ligt, Luke Shaw, and the Euro is the back three. What can happen is a player like Masraoui coming in. Let me just put him in here. Masraoui. Maybe it's right. I think it's the right color. And Lenny Euro sees the bench. That's an option. And for me, if I was the gaffer, I would definitely start Masraoui on the right wide centre back. When it comes to the pivot, we have Bruno and Casemiro, and they have played almost every game, every minute this season. So again, I think we will start with Bruno and Casemiro unless one of them is the injured player. So we will see. On the wing backs, Ahmad, as long as he's fit, I think he will start on the left side. We have two options. That's Dalot and Dorgu. I don't know if you guys have any preferences when it comes to who will start on the left wing back, but for me, I don't trust any of them. That's the thing. I would probably play Luke Shaw and start Martinez, but let's go for the predicted lineup, and that will be Dalot. I think he's a little ahead of Dorgu at the moment. On the bright side, we have Matheus Cunha back. Matheus Cunha back. I hope that he will start in his best position, and that's the left 10 on the pitch. But we could see Amorim put Cersei on the bench and Cunha start as the number 9. But after Cersei scoring a goal and is probably gained some confidence, I wouldn't kill his momentum if I was Amorim. So I would go with Cunha on the left, Cersei in the 9, and Mbeumo on the right. So I don't know, guys. What's your comments on my predicted 11? What are you guys saying? Yes, yeah, I believe so, Bilal. I think Cunha is coming straight into this team. I think he's, it's not an injury in his knee or leg or hamstring or thigh or anything. It was an concussion, and it's precautionary when it comes to head injuries. So you need to sit out for I don't know if it's 7 or 10 days or something. I don't know the protocol when it comes to this in the modern day sports, but you need to be 100% sure after a concussion, because the injuries is not a good injury to have. But I think he's still fit. He would have been able to train. What they are afraid of, that he's gonna get another knock to his head. But that's why you sit out for a couple of weeks. So I think he will be fit. He will be ready to go. I don't think you lose your match fitness in less than 2 weeks. So Cunha, definitely a starter for me. So and when it comes to Mbumo and Cersei, I think we all agree that Cersei should start after his brilliant goal. I think they came out on nothing, and it's like moments like that actually change the season for especially a striker, because strikers, they need to have confidence, they need to believe in themselves. And Cersei, I think he played a decent game. He wasn't super good, but he wasn't bad either. Against Everton, I lost all faith in Cersei. I think Cersei played terrible. He was influential in how we played, and I think it was one of the reasons we lost against Everton, because we lost our rhythm in the attack. But yeah, Bilal agrees. He says keep Cersei. We have Danny B in the house. Big up, Danny. Good to see you. Coming in and say big up crew, Irish Pit Terrier. Yeah. And Sebastian also says, I think he will keep Cersei and Euro, to be honest. And yeah, I think also he will do the same. I would be very surprised if he benched Cersei on a night like this. The only thing I can say when it comes to Cersei, the only reason I could see him sitting off is because he's not match fit, and playing two games in a short amount of time is not ideal, if you're not match fit. So maybe for fitness issues he would be dropped. But if long as he's fit, start him. That's just how I see it. So I want to hear a little bit about your speculations. Who do you guys think is the injured players? Because there are two players with injury concerns, so we could see some surprises in this starting 11. If I should speculate, as I said, I have a just a small hunch that it's Bruno, and if Bruno is out, it will really influence how Amorim would set up his team, because he would be forced to rotate, maybe put Mason Mount in the pivot with Casemiro. He could start Ugarte alongside Casemiro, or he could play Kobe Mainu. So for me, it's hard to say, because we haven't actually seen any of our pivot being injured. We had Casemiro out for one game suspension. We tried Kobe Mainu, but it didn't work out well, so I'm not sure what to do. I think if it was me, I would most likely put Mason Mount, drop Mason Mount down in Bruno's role, and then start Cunha. I would rotate as little as possible. So let's say if it's Bruno who's injured, and we take Bruno out of the team, I would probably just put Mason Mount in here. I know you all want to see Kobe Mainu, but the thing is, I don't think it's a thing Ruben Amorim would do. Ugarte, I don't trust Ugarte at all. I think Ugarte is terrible at the moment. Wouldn't start Ugarte either. So Mason Mount or Mainu for me. Well, I think Mainu has looked so poor when he has been on the pitch lately. So I think Mason Mount is better. So for me personally, I would go for Mason Mount. And I think people question Mason Mount playing in the central position, but you got to remember, most of the time when he play in the 10, let's say we have Bruno here, his area of occupation when he's on the pitch is mostly in this area. He drops into the midfield and help out, and it's almost a midfield 3, Because the thing is, we can't trust Bruno because Bruno is everywhere. He likes to wander off. He likes to help out. If Ahmad is on the ball, Bruno, is a magnet. Bruno is attract. If Dallo is on the ball, Bruno go out. If if Mavropanos, let's say West Ham is on the ball, Bruno will go after him. And the thing is, you get one player exposed. And this is one of my biggest problem when it comes to Bruno, because I think he makes our team unbalanced. I see a lot of people say when we talk about Bruno that, oh, you have a Bruno agenda, Bruno this, Bruno that. But for me, it's not about an agenda. It's just what I see. I see football with my eyes, and I play the game for almost 40 years, and I follow the game for my whole life. So I pick up a thing or two. But when I look at football, I see balance, and when we have Bruno in this team, I think we lose that balance. I showed you some clips, last time, and you see a lot of the time Bruno is trying to press. Let's say, let's just have an imaginary, hypothetical talk about the game against West Ham. Let's say if West Ham is pressing us high, and let's say Van Bissaka receives the ball, and Bruno is on the pitch, he will automatically try to nick the ball. He will try to intercept the ball because it's in his DNA. It's in his second striker, number 10 DNA. He will try to create a counter attack, and he likes to press. But I don't like, when he starts from a deep roll, the distance is long for him to get into press, and he a lot of times get overplayed. And what happened in an instance like this? Let's say if Bruno is in the pivot and pushes out, it leaves a big gap. And I don't know if you see this. You have a big gap in this area, and a lot of times Casemiro needs to step in and defend this area by himself. But what it makes us do, it makes us unbalanced, because when we should have been defended with 5, we have 5 guys here, we end up defending with 4. And we have 1 player running at us and defending with 4. And this is where we've seen the imbalance with this team a lot of times. And I've seen it at least 10 times this season, and we saw it last season time after time. And under Ten Hag, it happened every game at least 1 or 2 or 3 times. So we talked about the big gap in the midfield. And we end up criticizing Casemiro because it looks like he don't have the legs. But he's alone defending all this area, and usually it's 1 against 2 or 1 against 3. So again, being Casemiro, you can have all the experience in the world. You can be one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, but there's nothing you can do in a situation like this. You just have to try to slow down, delay. First rule of attack. You can't press, but you can't drop too deep either. So you have to be like in a midway, and this is the problem. And you don't get into the press, and you don't get to defend really well. So you get overrun all the time, and it's mainly because I see Bruno Fernandes running out of his position. I call it the headless chicken. So you see this a lot of the time. So for me, I would really love if Mason Mount comes into this midfield, or Mainu, if Bruno is injured, hypothetically. I don't know if you guys see this, but a lot of managers talk about this. They call it the transition defense. What happens if you lose the ball in certain areas? And in this formation, our transition defense is these guys, the 5. Because when we attack, our wing backs is supposed to be high up the pitch. Cersei is supposed to be high, and the number 10s is a little bit deeper in moments when we are attacking, and the 2 double pivot behind them. So what really goes on in a situation like this is we create there's a football principle that's called the the M. We have the M and the W. So you see here the W, and in football, these principles, it doesn't matter if you play the 3-4-3, if you play the 4-4-2, 4-3-3, whatever. This is the main game. You want to try to create the MW, and the M is the defensive part, and then the W is the attacking part, and that's the balance of the team. You have mainly two blocks, and when we play a player like Bruno and he runs out of his position, we lose our shape, we lose the MW, and we expose ourselves because we loses the balance with 5 defenders and 5 attackers. So, it's not my biggest critic of Bruno is not his it's not his people call it hand grenading or bombing the ball and losing the ball. That's not my biggest issue. It's his defensive skills, keeping his position, being positionally aware. So I want to get into the comments. I want to talk with you guys and see what you think about this. Sean comes in and say, I trust Bruno to provide 2 assists again. Yeah, his stats is something else. He will provide attacking output, and this is most likely why every manager chooses to build a team around Bruno. When I see football, I see football a little bit differently. I see the balance. I want to create balance. I want to attack with cautiousness and defend with heroism. And I think you need to do both to win games. And I don't know if the timing of Bruno is right, because when you play in a team with someone asked me the question the other day. How many of these 11 players are playing in an ideal system out of the 11? For me, it's most likely it's Luke Shaw, maybe De Ligt, maybe Cunha if he's on the pitch, and you can say the goalkeeper. So let's say three, maybe 4 players out of 11 is playing at their ideal position in this system. So it tells me that we are not set up right, but we are in a process, and this is the process. We are gradually getting better. We are gradually getting players into this system and getting them to understand their role. But we need to strengthen. We need to buy players. We need a huge January window. We need to sign at least 2 players, one of them midfielder and hopefully a left wing back. And I think the balance will be much better. If you can get it up to, let's say, 6 or 7 ideal players in this system, I think we will see huge improvements right away. Big up, Jamie Wayne. Good to see you. Good to see you in the house. So, this is my worry when it comes to this. But I will never criticize Bruno's goals and assists and his outcome. That's exceptional. There's not many midfielders who have that outcome when it comes to football in the modern day. But we also got to remember, what we criticize the most in this Amorim team is our midfield pivot. And as far as I know, if you go by the highest paid midfielders in the Premier League, I think Bruno and Casemiro is number 1 and 2 on that list. So it tells you that our pivots, Bruno and Casemiro, are the highest paid midfielders in the Premier League, and our weakest link at the same time. So I think we could have done better. We could have spent the money better and got better value for our pound. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I want to go back to the tactical board, and we can talk a little bit about West Ham, or West Ham, as Stu likes to say. They usually play in a 4-2-3-1 formation, but because of Paqueta, other injuries, and what they've been doing so far this season, I think we will see them play in a back 5. I'm not sure if they're going something like this and Bowen as the second striker, so there will be a 5-5-3-2 or a 5-4-1. but I think they will come a little bit defensively. We know Nuno Espirito Santos. We have played against him many times. Against West Ham, no, Wolves. We played against Wolves and Ruben Neves and all of these Portuguese players. And it looked for me that we lost a lot of those games. They were tight games. They never give anything away, never any space away. They sit in a tight mid block, sometimes a low block. They defend really well, and they don't open up spaces, and they don't make mistakes. You can never hit them on transition, and they will try to hit it long or direct, play over your press if you go out high. So I feel I understand how Nuno will play. We also remember Nuno when he played for Forest. Forest was the only team last season coming in fifth, not playing out from the back. They play it long into the midfield, try to win the second ball and start from there all the time. And now, even after he came to West Ham, I think I see tendencies that West Ham are trying to do the same. Not a ball-playing team, they are playing more direct. So you have players on West Ham. You have a big striker, the German guy, Fulkrug. I think he's brilliant in the air. You have a hard worker in Jared Bowen. He will run. He will take on our men. You have the Brazilian guy Luis Guilherme, and you have a hard-working midfield. You have Potts, Fernandes, and two reasonably good defensively fullbacks in Walker Peters, the guy who played for Southampton for so many years. He did really well, and our own Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. So, being Cunha up against Wan-Bissaka, that will be one of the most interesting duels from that game. We all know Cunha is a brilliant dribbler, but going up against Wan-Bissaka, who's probably the best man-to-man defender in the world. I don't know. I haven't seen him much in the last season, but we know what he can do. So again, it will be a difficult game for Cunha. And thinking of that, maybe we should just drop Cersei right away and play Cunha in centrally. I think maybe Cunha will be better, and we can start Mason Mount on the left. I don't know, but it could be. It's an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought. So they start with Ariola in goal, Igor Julio center. They have Todibo, the guy we were linked to, the guy from Nice. We have Mavropanos, the Greek guy, playing as the three center backs. And you have two hard-working midfielders. What they don't have is a little bit of flair that we would have gotten from Paqueta. He's suspended, 2 yellow cards. Again, stupid from him, but good for us. Very good from us. When it comes to this West Ham team, let's break down some stats. Hey, we have Jonathan Lilienberg. Big up, Jonathan. Good to see you. And Roshmano comes in and say rumors of Bruno and Cersei might be doubts for tomorrow. Okay. My hunch was maybe right, because we all saw Bruno, holding his hamstring, back of his thigh after the Crystal Palace game. So it will be interesting to see what Amorim is going to do if both of them are not playing. I want to bring up the tactical board again. Let's think of this. Let's see. So if Cersei is out and Bruno is out, you have to start Cunha as the 9, and you have to start Mainu in the pivot. Yeah, that's the only way, because you need Mount in the number 9, in the number 10 position. But even then, I think it's a good enough team to beat a poor West Ham team. Even though Nuno Espirito Santos have done well, in this West Ham team. They are not as bad as they've been under Potter. Potter got a sack, and Espirito Santos came in, and West Ham, they lost against Liverpool 2-0 in their last game, but before that they drew against Bournemouth away 2-2, and that's a strong result. We all know Andoni Raiola and Bournemouth, they are a strong team, and it's hard. They are really hard to take points against that. What's the name of their stadium? Is it St. Mary's? No, that's Southampton. Well, it doesn't matter. And they won against Burnley 3-2. They had a strong victory against Newcastle 3-1. And before that, they lost to Leeds 2-1 away. But again, they are hardly a relegation battling team at the moment. I think they are like from 12th to 8th, to be fair, and they are better than the table says at the moment. So I don't think it will be an easy game. I'm always cautious. I'm always worried when Man United plays. They are better than I think a lot of us expect. And I don't expect West Ham to come in this game and just set up a low block and try to defend for 90 minutes. That's not how they play their football. If you look at their latest results, they scored 2 goals against Bournemouth away. They scored 3 against Burnley. They scored 3 against Newcastle. I don't see them sitting back and try to defend to this victory. I think for 100% sure they will try to attack us. They will try to sit back, but they will sting if possible. We all remember the Everton game, and maybe it's not as far from the Everton game as we would like. It will be something something similar, I believe. Espirito Santos is a very, very experienced Premier League manager, and he's been around for many years. He knows how to set up his team, and he's come to Old Trafford with this Wolves team and won many of times. And I'm not sure if he ever won with West. With I have something going on my screen. Okay, now it's gone. Pop-up came up, then blocked half my screen. So yeah, big up Bilal saying share the stream, please, people. Yes, I'm not going to go too long. I'm gone 32 minutes already. I think I've said what I had to say about West Ham. I also had a little bit of a talk about the tactics, how I think Man United will come out. We can have one last look at the tactical board, and let's just assume it's Cersei and Bruno is out, as Rashmano said. So, if I was Amorim, how I would try to, let's say West Ham will sit back, most likely in a mid block. So for us to play out from the back will be probably doable. They will maybe just press with Bowen and Fulkrug, and their job will mainly be to block out the central area and press us out wide. Because why do team do this? They press out wide because of one thing: you get the sideline as an extra defender, so you don't need an extra guy on the outside. So it's easier for the fullback, and you're forcing Man United into a block. So you're forcing them into a block when you're forcing them to go wide. So the principle is fairly simplistic, but in football it works. So I think West Ham will do that. Try to set up the strong mid block, as every team do. In the modern day football, the mid block is mainly, let's say, it's these two guys, and these two guys, the two DMs. And try to overload the central area, so we will be forced to play around. And if I was West Ham, if I was Fulkrug, I would always try to force the pass from Lamens out to Luke Shaw to try to block off Mbumo and Ahmad. It's so much easier just to have them sitting on the other opposite side of where the play is. So all the time try to get Dalot to be the guy who's on the ball, because then you are home free. Dalot against Wan-Bissaka. He won't thou shalt not pass. That was someone said that in Lord of the Rings, and Dalot will never pass Van Bissaka. So I think if I was Nuno, I will just depend on that one. So for us to break down this West Ham team, I would do whatever I can to get Euro or Masraoui into play. When playing out from the back, I would just push the Ligt high. So he would be on either Bowen and Fulkrug, and I will push, let's say, Mainu higher up the pitch and just sit there 2-2. And then you will free up, we have Cunha, for example, and Mainu on the 2-8s, and then you will have overloads on each side. And I will press my 2 wide center backs out really wide. So that will be the start of the game. And then you can start, maneuvering around, set up these diamonds as we've seen all the time, and try to play out easily. And West Ham will try to be compact, set up in the mid block. So if you play on one side, they will push over with almost all their men. And one of the key elements for the game tomorrow will be the shift of play. Can we, or are we able to play on the other side? We can set up players like Bruno, like Ahmad, 2 against 1, or force Todibo out, and then we will have players like Cunha who can run in behind. And hopefully a player like Mainu also can contribute going forward. But we need to move our legs. We need to have a lot of runs. And also, we need the third man runs. If we go to that stage as we saw against Everton, playing against a solid low block of 5 and a block of 4 right in front of them, how do we break down something like this? It doesn't matter how many men we set up. We can have like 2 strikers. We can have 3 strikers. It doesn't matter. It's overpopulated. It's crowded. So the only way to break down something like this is to start with diagonal runs, run through the crowd, and not just one. Because if one guy goes, you drag one guy with you, and then the second run goes in that area where you open up space. So the only way to break it down is to move your legs, and obviously you need ball speed. You need the passes to go quick passes and accurate crosses, and a lot of diagonal runs, run through them, and you have to come with deep runs. Then you are really hard. Then you're hard to be. And Sean, comes in. That's 100% Sean. I agree. Cunha will be vital, and this is why I put the thumbnail up. It changes everything with Cunha. He's the missing piece, and Cunha is back. He can do this. He's the guy who can actually bring a little bit of magic. So I'm not going to go too long. I want to know your score predictions for tomorrow. Do you think Man United will win it? Do you see a draw? Do you see a West Ham coming in and shocking us again at Old Trafford the same way Everton did? For me, I think it will be difficult. I think it will be a tight game. Hopefully we will score first, and there will be a little bit more space when West Ham will try to go forward. If we score first, I think we can easily see a 3-0 win. If West Ham score first, I think we will struggle breaking them down. At best, we will see a 1-1. So the first goal is always vital when it comes to football. Yeah. The first goal is vital. My prediction is Man United win 2-0. Jonathan comes in and says a 5-5 draw. Wow, yeah. I don't know if you saw the Manchester City Leeds game. The Manchester City Fulham game yesterday. Fulham coming back, being down 5-1 and scoring. So there was some squeaky bum time in the last couple of minutes. They had a big chance saved on the line, and it could have been 5-5, but unfortunately Manchester City won the game 5-4. But it was a very entertaining game, one of the funniest games I've seen in a long while. And again, I got to give it to Sander Berge. He's the general. I love that type of player. So Sander Berge. Day 147 comes in. He sees a draw tomorrow. I gave you guys a poll. Are we winning against West Ham? 84% of you says yes. 11% says no. And just 5% of you says a draw. Jamie Wayne comes in and say, we're going to win tomorrow. Teams are dropping points. Yeah, we got to win. 100%. We got to win tomorrow. I don't know. I didn't see the end results in all of the games. Let's just go through them quickly. Arsenal are up 2-0 against Brentford. Brighton is down 3-4 against Villa. A couple of minutes left. Palace is up 1-0 against Burnley. Forest is leading against Wolves. And Leeds are up 2-0 Chelsea. Get in. That's nice. Wow, Leeds. And Liverpool, Sunderland, it's still 0-0. I don't think it's my results updated. I want to just double check, and I needed to refresh. No. Liverpool, Sunderland 1-1. Leeds, Chelsea 3-1. Wolves, Forest 0-1. Burnley, Palace 0-1. And Brighton, Aston Villa 3-4. And Arsenal won the game 2-0 against Brentford. Goal from Merino again. Wow, Merino scoring a lot of goals. And Bukayo Saka. Wow, there's some interesting results tonight. Aston Villa is doing really well at the moment. Brighton lost. So where did this put us in the Premier League table? Let me just bring up the Premier League table and let's see. Let's try to share the screen. Okay, so the Premier League table is as follows. Arsenal is top of the league, 33 points. City on second, 28 points. Villa is now sitting in third. They are really doing well now. They were almost in relegation zone. It felt like a couple of weeks ago, and now they are sitting third. Chelsea, after they lost, are sitting fourth on 24 points. Palace are doing bits, 23. Sunderland, 23. Brighton, 22. Liverpool are on 22 if the result against Sunderland keeps itself as 1-1. So if we win tomorrow, us on 21 points, if we win, we can go up to fifth with 24 points, going equal on points with Chelsea, but we have to have they have +10 in goal difference. We have +1. So at best, we could sit fifth after tomorrow's round, and if we win against West Ham. So it will be interesting to see. I will jump over to Nuruddin's channel now and do the preview with Nuruddin and the guys. So Stu and I will be back tomorrow night with the reaction. It's a late one. It's an 8 p.m. So the game is ending like 10 p.m. So we will most likely go live like 10:15 or 10:30. So keep an eye out for that show, and I will thank everybody for tuning in. Jamie, Wayne, Belal, Sean, big up Sean. Thank you for all the comments. Jonathan, Day 147, and all of you guys. Sorry for not interacting. I'm not used to sitting here by myself. I admire people like Sean sitting here every night by himself and doing show after show. So it's not always easy, but thank you everybody for contributing, and jump over to Nuruddin's channel, United Real Therapy, and you can see more Jarvis. People, smash the like, subscribe if this is your first time on the Tactical Devils, and Stu and I will be back with the match reaction tomorrow night. Have a good one, and good night. Bye-bye.